Hello, everybody. This is Burl Workman, and welcome to today's Risk Media's Super Agent webinar series. And we are excited to have you all here today. We've got a lot of people on the call today, so let me just do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'll introduce our sponsor and our unbelievable guests. First of all, I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to really learn more about what's happening in the real estate business today and how you can improve. My name is Burl Workman. I'm the founder and CEO of Workman Success Systems, and I've been asked to host this call. This series of webinars is made available because of the great relationship we have with partners. And we want to thank Mark Tepper with Open Home Pro for joining us today and sponsoring this webinar series. And I wanted to make sure that you stay tuned until the very end of the seminar because we have some unbelievable gifts for you. We're going to show you not only how you can get some special offer for Open Home Pro, but we're also going to share with you how you can get content that has been shared by two of the best listing agents on the planet. So let me real quick introduce Mark Tepper. Mark is the Senior Vice President and Sales and Marketing for Open Home Pro. He's responsible for strategy, for development, for operations of the online real estate business at Open Home Pro. He's literally spent more than 10 years working in the real estate and technology space. And I got to tell you, as I go through Open Home Pro and we start looking at how we can utilize this, not only with our coaching clients, but also in our own real estate practices, I can tell you that they've hit a home run with this amazing technology. So, Mark, thank you for being a sponsor of the series today. Give us a quick overview of what Open Home Pro does, and we'll get right into today's content.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks so much, Burl. I appreciate it. So Open Home Pro, pretty simple and straightforward. It is a tablet application that's used to collect visitor leads at open houses. So for anybody that does an open house, this is an essential product for you to use. It is replacing pen and paper at sign-in. And as we all know, that's actually a really inefficient way of collecting leads, and you spend lots of time 2-3 hours at an open house and all the time prep work before it, and most of the reason you're doing that is to keep the sellers happy and also to collect leads. And with pen and paper, it's just not doing the job, and that's where we came up with Open Home Pro. So Open Home Pro ranks #1 for open houses search in the App Store, consistently ranks in the top 100 free business apps. There's more than 70,000 downloads total, and it's rated 5 stars in the App Store. So the bottom line is agents love this product. So as soon as you use it, you're gonna love it. It is definitely a must-have for listing presentations, another reason why we want to sponsor today, because it clearly demonstrates your commitment to implementing the latest and greatest in technology. After the end of the open house, it automatically emails sellers a post-open house with data on the attendees. So a person, clears out their house for a couple of hours, and they ask, okay, how many people attended the open house? Well, now we can give you a really good, detailed report you can give back to the seller. Also, there's immediate follow-up with open house attendees for feedback on items such as price point, great third-party information to share with sellers. And a great quote from Wayne from Century 21 basically said it's a great tool to make him look like he is really tech savvy.
Well, I love it. I love the fact that it's not just registering; it actually puts them on a plan so that you stay in touch with people that came through the open house.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a really light CRM system that does automated follow-up for you so you don't have to do it, and really identifies those people that are most likely to be interested in doing a transaction in the next couple months.
So the cool thing is it's not just it's not like you don't go to a website and buy it. It's actually an app. You go in the App Store to download it.
Yep. You go to the App Store to download it, or if you got Android, you can go there as well to download. We have an Android version as well. And so it is free to download. So regardless of whether you're going to take advantage of our premium offer or not, I would absolutely recommend download the free version, play with it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And then you'll see when you look at the premium version all the great features that are in there. They're going to even make your life that much easier. So the offer that we have today is one lucky winner is going to receive 1 year of OHP Premium, which is a $300 value, and you'll get it for free. So stay here. Well, we got all your contact information. We'll get in touch with you. And then for everybody that is on the call today, there's a 15% coupon for OHP Premium yearly subscription. It's good until the end of the month. And so all you have to do is go to the App Store, download Open Home Pro, sign into your account, so you create your own username and password, and then put in a promo code of RIS Webinar, and then you're going to save on the premium, 15% savings on the premium version.
So stay tuned to the end of the call. We're going to give one away, a whole year of premium. It's kind of fun, and I don't know if you can see this, Mark, but there's people that are on the call right now that are punching in, hey, this is a great app. We've been using it and love it. Thanks so much. So a lot of love from the audience today.
That's great. I appreciate it. Thanks, Earl.
Thank you very much. And once again, thanks for being a sponsor, and it makes it possible to bring in such talent like Mike Parker and Wayne Turner. And let me introduce our guests. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to check your seats. Look around on the right and the left side. See if you've got some straps. And I'm going to ask you to strap in because we're going to go on a serious ride as Mike Parker and Wayne Turner, mega listing agents, some of the best in the country, are going to take you through the real deal on how they list, literally hundreds of properties every single year. When I talked to Mike and Wayne, I said, guys, I don't want any theory. I don't want the philosophy behind it. Just show me what you do. And these are two gentlemen who are both givers. Both of them jumped at the opportunity to share. It's kind of interesting. There's true elite, and then there's people who I like to call the tweeners. And the tweeners are less likely to share with you what really works. But the true givers, and I've often found them at the very top of the industry, are the ones that we like to hang out with. And I just want to let both Mike Parker and Wayne Turner know how much we appreciate them being here. And having gone through the presentation, I can tell you that these are givers that are willing to share with you a lot of great information. We're going to start today with Mike Turner. Mike Turner's with the Turner Real Estate Group out of Manderville, Louisiana. And literally, Mike helped write the book on real estate home sales. He's recognized as a leader for residential home sales, and he's ranked in the top 0.5% of all real estate agents nationwide. Wayne consistently lists and sells over 300 houses every single year, putting himself and his team among the foremost elite for real estate home sales. Wayne's been doing this for more than 18 years. And I'll tell you what, selling houses is what Wayne Turner does better than anybody else. So, Wayne, thank you for being on the call. Thanks for breaking into your busy schedule to share with us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. It's my pleasure.
So I'm gonna turn it over to you and just kind of set it up with the philosophy. I love this slide when you started with this slide, and we'll go right into your listing presentation. Tell me why you put this in the package.
Well, the reason why I put this in here is because I go on listing appointments, and I'm amazed, and we've all done it. We've all been subjected to the syndrome of, oh, God, what do I say if they ask me, what is my commission? What do I say if they ask me, where do I put an open house? What do I say? And everybody's always talked about scripts, and at the end of the day, here's what we have to put our head around. We're independent contractors, but it's a business, and just like anything, if you're going to learn and be good at what you do, you want to learn the basics of it. And that's learning the lingo and learning the terminology. So here's the thing. When a homeowner asks you what's your commission, they're just asking you the question, what is your commission? And it's imperative that you be honest and tell them what you feel that it's worth. And, of course, commissions are negotiable. We all know that, and they vary across the country. Some do 4, some do 5, some do 7, some do 10 on commercial. Regardless of what it is, the most important thing is to stick to your gun and just look at them and tell them, because I have people ask me all the time, because it's funny, in our listing presentation, on our phone calls, at our appointments, it's funny, we never talk about commission until we literally get out the paperwork. I mean, that's typically the last question that they ask before we can pull out the listing, agreement, if you will. So that's my big thing. I've asked consumers just recently in the last 30, 45 days, did you interview any other agents? Yes, we did. Did you ask them what their commission was? And I've had a couple of people say, well, X agent said they could do it for 4.5, and this agent said they could do it for, a discount. And, of course, the main thing is knowing how to handle those objectives. But at the end of the day, when they say commission, just answer the question, because I can promise you what happens most of the time is a consumer homeowner says, what's your commission? And you say, well, it's normally 7% or 8%, but, I tell you what, we can do it, are you going to buy a house from us? If you're going to buy another house from us, we can give you a deal, or we'll work with you a little bit. And it's like, they didn't ask you that. They just asked you your commission. So I think it's so important just to be straight up with people and say, hey, this is, at the end of the day, me personally, I have to believe and feel like I'm worth what I'm charging a client, because me personally, I'm real picky. So it's hard for people to please me in terms of the amount of dollars that somebody's paying you. It's a $200,000 sale. You're looking upwards $10,000 to $15,000, depending on your commission and your market, whatever you charge. But if I'm paying somebody $10,000 to $15,000, I want some service, whether I give them any money up front or not. So most importantly is if you believe in yourself and you believe in your service, then it makes it easy to charge the fee that you charge because you know you're worth it. So, anyway, that's my rant.
Deal. It's such a huge deal. When I hear you talk about that,
that's how we make a living, man. We all work for money. I mean, hell, if somebody came down and God said, you know what, you can sell houses, but no more money for you, you'd be like, bro, what do you want me to do? I got to find something else to do. You know, got to go make money somehow.
Well, I love that it's not just because they're asking you what your commission is. It doesn't mean they want you to engage in a negotiation. Just tell them what your commission is. That's great advice.
They're not. It's a bad assumption. It really is, and it hurts you financially.
All right, so this is one of the best market reports I've ever seen. Thank you.
Yeah, this is good stuff. This is Real Market Reports. Any of you out there listening, you can go to realmarketreports.com. This is, man, it's the closest thing you have to a crystal ball in terms of showing a client, you know, what the market's reading. You can do different reports. You can do reports on subdivisions. You can do reports on cities. You can do reports on a county. You can do reports. I mean, you can really break it down to the finite. Now, the really cool thing is if you'll look at the fourth one over here, it shows some numbers and graphs and all that. That's where people really start looking at absorption rate. They can tell what the market is, where it's being, where it's going. Jake Morvant, who is my brother-in-law, created this company going on 5 years now. And it's phenomenal because he basically takes all the data and it updates on a weekly basis. So you get an updated report every single week, and it's retroactive back 6 months. So it's a 180-day report that refreshes and updates every single week. So talk about very detailed. It shows you pending properties. It breaks it down into price. It shows you absorption rate based on the current listing and based on the current sales. It shows you value. It even gives you a chart at the bottom, and it literally shows you, is it a neutral market? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? And talking about a really good tool to use whenever you're meeting with a client is to look at them and say, you know, it's not the market. It's not me. You know, I wish I could sell your house for $1 million. It's the market, and we have to get realistic on price. And here's what the market is telling us. And it breaks it down by price. Really cool stuff. Yeah.
Phenomenal information. And so when you sent me your entire listing presentation, just kind of take us through kind of page by page how you would present each of the pages as you go through this.
Yeah, real quick. I just like to show people, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, have a passion for the business. I enjoy it. So I'm honored to say, you know, I've been in the business now. This is my 19th year. May it'll be 19 years. So I'm honored to say, you know, I own a company. I've worked for bigger companies. We all know the names of those bigger companies. But I decided to go out and do it on my own years ago. And once you get a taste of doing it on your own, it's kind of hard to work for anybody else, even though you're an independent contractor. But anyway, I just kind of give people a quick bio. People are nosy. They want to know who you are, what you do. So it's important to put information out there. Videos are really huge right now. This right here just talks about a CRS. I'm a CRS, which is Certified Residential Specialist, and there's I don't know if that number's correct, but it's somewhere around 35 to 40,000 real estate agents, and there's about 1 million of us nationwide. So a very, very small percentage actually hold this designation. And the really cool thing about the CRS, it basically just tells them, so look, it's the difference between maybe a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. That's the difference. You know, it's the people that have really proven themselves in the industry that want to go the extra mile and get that education. This is just a real estate company, if you will, and it just shows us our team members and who they are. And then this is just a little mission, you know, profound impact on the quality of people's business and personal lives, world-class service. At the end of the day, I'm really big into service, service, service. I want to make sure that the clients are raving fans. You know, I've discovered years ago that if you sell a house in 45 days or less, you're going to get a wow customer. They're going to think, wow, man, you're awesome. You did what you said you were going to do. That's phenomenal. If it takes you between 45 and 70 days, you did pretty good. Anything over 70, 80 days, you're kind of average. And, of course, it depends on the market, you know, but I don't want to be average. I want to wow every single client. So I'm really big into customer service, follow-up, touching base with them, keeping them in the loop.
Wayne, you kind of went over your mission statement, like, yeah, blah blah. I think it's an amazing mission statement, and it kind of you're backing it up with your core values. Your mission is to have a profound impact on the quality of people's business and personal lives through world-class real estate service. I think that says so much, and it's very powerful. So well done in creating that. How do you actually expand that to the way that your team interacts with your clients?
Well, it's our thing is they call us one time. We don't want them to feel like they have to call us anymore, or bother us anymore, or not bother us. What's the word I'm looking for? In other words, I don't want. Once a client calls us and chooses us to be their real estate agent, we want them to know that we're here for them, we're professional, and little simple things, the subtle things, instead of going, yep, or no problem, we say, it's our pleasure, it's my pleasure, we'll be glad to help you. We're really big into, if you promise somebody you're going to do something at 4 o'clock, try to get it done sooner, time is of the essence. So.
Well, I love it. I think it's very powerful.
This right here, positive and aggressive, we specialize. So we basically tell people residential sales, divorce decrees, investment property, 1031 exchange. You'd be surprised. I had a guy call me last week. He's got 9 acres. He wants to do a 1031 exchange. And I'm like, why are you wanting to do a 1031 exchange? You want to buy the property? He's like, well, I'm looking to buy another house. And it's like, you can't. It has to be like property, and educating him on that. He was just blown away that I actually knew about the 1031 exchange and the time frame that he had to identify the property. And all that comes with time. At the end of the day, if you're watching this webinar and you're listening, you can take those items right there and just educate yourself a little bit on estate sales. Just Google estate sales in your city, your state, your area. There's lots of information out there. Just kind of educate yourself a little bit, on successions or probate sales, corporate relocation. People always say they don't want to be the go-to. I want to keep up with the community events and all that. And me personally, it's like I'm not a newsletter. I'm not a newspaper. I'm a real estate broker, and I'm the best bang for the buck. And I feel the confidence that I have to give the best service. So I don't want to put a bunch of fluff and duff on what's going on. I mean, we do a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, we want to be known for the, when you think of real estate, you think of Turner Real Estate Group. So this is just a quick checklist for people. When you're selecting the agent, you deserve to comparison shop. And we tell everybody, even when we call our expired listings, we're just, if you still are accepting offers on your property, will you be interviewing agents this week, or will next week be better for you? Most people don't realize they can interview agents. We want them to interview. Sometimes we're not the agent that's selected, but we want to be interviewed. Most of the time we are the agent that's selected once we get in the door.
I can see why. So Wayne, did the slide advance for you? Is there strength in numbers?
Yeah, this right here works pretty good, and we basically just tell people there's certain slides on here which almost like you have to have stuff. We put the testimonial in there, you'll notice that, and that's important for people. There's strength in numbers, total numbers, sales, top producer, average agent. I can tell you when people are looking at this presentation, I think it's about 24 pages, they just kind of glance over this page. Not real crazy important to them, because at the end of the day, the consumer wants what's in it for them, and that's to sell their home quickly for the most amount of money with the least amount of stress. And it does help because they see.
I was going to ask you, do you do this as a PowerPoint, or do you do it as a handout?
No, I don't do it as a handout. I do it on my iPad. So this is like a PowerPoint. I actually do it in Keynote on my iPad. And that in itself is really important. So if you're out there, it's really important that you can take this stuff and you're like, man, I don't know how to do all that. Well, let me tell you, I didn't either when I first started. And I as technology has transitioned, what I did is I got with a graphic designer and I told him what I wanted, and I told him what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create it for, and they figured it out for me. And they created, a basic template of the slides, put it in Keynote, because that's the presentation version on the iPad, and it just works out.
My motto is you don't have to be a geek, you just have to know one.
That's it, man. And there's people, a lot of hire people that are better at doing this stuff than you are, But 93% of all home buyers choose the web, and that number may be a little higher than that now. But it just shows you where we're all over the place, from Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia. We're connected. We keep your property connected. We make it easy for a buyer to find your home. At the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to.
You mentioned video kind of when you first started out. How much are you actually using video in your business?
Quite a bit. If you go to my website, callwayneturner.com, I have two sites. I have wayneturner.com and I have callwayneturner.com. If you go to call, C-A-L-L, wayneturner.com, you can click on videos. There's lots of videos. We do a video. I do a video every week, and I do it from my vehicle. So I'm typically riding down the road and just talking about what's going on in the market. The rates drop, the credits drop, if they drop to 580, just keeping up with what's on the market. Keep your videos absolutely less than 3 minutes, because people don't have much time. That their attention span, they just want to hit it and move. We do virtual tours on every property. It's really economical, and it's one of those things where it wows the client. It just talks a little bit about home sale guarantee.
I just want to mention to the listeners that are on the call today, if you have questions for Wayne or for Mike, make sure you use your control panel in the GoToWebinar and type those questions in. And then when I get a chance to take a break, I'll make sure that we'll ask them. And if we don't, then we'll answer questions and post them to our blog a little bit later. So if you have questions, feel free to type them in the question section. Tell me about the sold guarantee, or I'll buy it. You buy many houses?
No, not really. We can, and we basically settle. People call and go, "What is the guarantee?" And I just tell them we can guarantee to sell your house, or we can purchase it for an offer. Purchase it for a price that's acceptable to you. It has to be win-win for both parties, so it has to be acceptable to you. What we do is we meet with you, look at your house, and then we give you a market value and we give you a purchase price. We can meet with you today at 4, or tomorrow at 10 be better. We go for the appointment. And then once we get in the house, they're like, well, just meet with me tomorrow, and when we get there, we are basically showing, here's what we can market your home for, and here's what we can guarantee it to sell for. So we'll start the price, we'll make some incremental adjustments in price while it's on the market, and then we can, basically tell them that we can purchase that house. They don't have to purchase another home of ours. They don't have to purchase new construction or anything like that. People's like, what's the kick, what's the gig? At the end of the day, I have a group of investors, and they buy properties for a discounted, rate. And not many people want to sell their house for that, but we do have some that want to basically just get out of it. We've had a couple of people that basically just want to get out. They're like, I got to get out, or they're a short sale. And so, yeah, hey, it works for me. I'm calling investors. The minute we sign the listing agreement, we're calling them and saying, hey, we got one. But it's having those pool of people. How do you find those people? If you're in your market, just go to Craigslist. Just post some houses, fixer-uppers, handyman specials, that sort of thing. You'll get people to inquire about those properties, and you'll pick up some investors that way.
That's a great idea.
We put track with the buyers, putting homes in front. Here's what we tell people right now. I said we actually have 3 websites. I got a Boomtown site, Real Estate Webmaster site, and a Real Pro site. And you're thinking, why in the hell have they got all those sites? Well, I've had Real Pro forever. I picked up Boomtown 3 years ago. Boomtown's working phenomenal. We close about 55 houses a year just from Boomtown, 55, 60 houses a year on average from Boomtown. Our Boomtown is our pay-per-click, so we do a lot of pay-per-click. But what's really cool is when we're on a listing presentation, I'm able to take my iPad, open up my Boomtown back office, and I can show them the 12,314 people that we currently have that are actively receiving e-alerts, e-property alerts. So when a house is just put on the market, or a house is reduced in price or changed in status to meet that potential buyer's criteria, they get an automatic email. What's really nice is we keep up with those people. So when we list their property, we do what we call a best fit property match for the client. So we take the property that they're agreeing to list with us, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 123 Elm Street, 1,800 square feet, and then we basically cross-reference it with our website, and the website literally within about 60 seconds spits out a list of the best buyers that match that house. So on the listing appointment, we're telling the seller, look, it's very likely we already have a buyer for your home. We just have to match it to that buyer. once we match it, that's how we're able to sell houses quicker, better than the competition. Because we're not starting with just zero. We have a pool and a bank of buyers for your house. And this just kind of shows that the slide's kind of jacked up. I'm not too sure why, but it just shows you the average list price to sales price, percentage, time on the market. I think it's important to know what's the average time on the market with the average agent, and you can get that from your MLS, or if you do like real market reports, we'll show you the average, not just time on the market, but also a percentage of list price to sales price, and then you can compare yours with the average agent. If yours is greater, you definitely want to push that out there. And then it's a home selling solution, so we try to make it quick, try to make it easy, try to make it stress and hassle-free. No hidden fees, no processing fees. Sell it yourself, pay nothing, and cancel anytime. And people like that because they don't realize that in most states it is the law. We just choose to tell people because at the end of the day, personally I don't want to be locked into any long, lengthy listing agreement. And so I tell people that we have to have a beginning date and an end date. For your protection, it's required by the state that we show you when your property is going to be marketed, when it's going to begin to be marketed, and when it's going to end the marketing and the promotional process of it being for sale. But I put in writing on every listing appointment that I meet with a client, they can cancel at any time, no cost, no obligation.
Love it.
I've had a little bit of a head cold, so I apologize, y'all. I'm kind of still a little croupy and sniffly. This right here, real estate firms were when the heyday of the market, it was really cranking. They were charging processing fees, and then they backed off a little bit. And then when the market kind of going, the recession hit, and they started picking up with the fees. I never charged the fees. Never went to the fees. Just personally wouldn't want to pay the fee. I figured, how if I'm paying somebody tens of thousands of dollars to sell my house, it was just one more hurdle that we'd have to deal with. We tried it a little bit, and I just didn't like it. So do what you're comfortable with. So I didn't do it, so I still put it out there because there are limited service brokerage companies, that offer a very, very limited service, put your property in maybe the multiple listing service and then charge you an upfront fee. When they charge you a fee, you're locked in, that sort of thing. We specialize in homes that haven't sold 19 years now. Expireds have been pretty strong for me. I've worked them for years. When I first got my license, I just thought, well, hell, let me call for sale by owners because those are people actually are raising their hand. They got a flag in their front yard and says, hey, we're selling our house. I would just pick up the phone and call those people and say, hey, what are you asking for? What's your bedrooms, bath, square footage? We can't help but sell what we see. Would you mind if I took a look at your house? I'll be in your area tomorrow. Take a quick look, build a rapport, send them some nice stuff in the mail. And then I realized I had an agent said that you can actually pull expired listings, and it was, something that people do, and it was legal to do and all this. And so I've been doing it ever since. We pull expired listings, we call them, we send them stuff in the mail.
Love that. You still prospect, Wayne. I love it.
Yeah. Feedback from every showing. So we let people know up front communication is the key. Communication. So we give them feedback from every showing. We find that, here's a pearl too, we find that we can text an agent to get feedback, and it's quicker. So think about that. Instead of just having to call an agent and leaving a voicemail, it's amazing. You can just text them, say, hey, what'd you think about the property? It was the one it had. Just kind of give them a little bit on the property, refresh their memory real quick to the point, and they'll shoot you back. And that way you basically have a, and if you don't want to do it on your phone, you can go to Google Voice, and you can actually do it from your computer and then link it to your phone. That way it does it on your phone and your computer. You can always reach someone with our team. We let them know there's always somebody available 7 days a week. Somebody's going to answer the phone. So I personally don't really care for voicemail no more than I have to, We all love it when you call somebody and leave them a voicemail, and they call you right back. You're like, hey, did you get my voicemail? No, I didn't listen to it.
Do you use a service, or do you have somebody that's like on call?
No, I don't use a service. I tried a service. There was a couple of companies out there that I tried, and they were out west. We're Central Time Zone. They were out west, but it just didn't work, man. They had a lot of turnover in their employment, and so it just didn't work. So we just it's either myself or I've got an executive assistant or my agents go in rotation. We'll just answer the phones typically it's not too bad. About 50% of the calls that we get on the weekends are just other agents, you know.
Yeah.
Asking.
Hey, so Wayne, spend a minute on this slide. You know,
Sure.
when I was looking through your slides and we talked about this, this has a lot of impact and really helps with the pricing of a property and determining value. I love this slide.
Yeah, I can tell you, this is one where people, when I get to it, they stop and move about 2 foot closer to the screen. It's like they're looking at everything, and not just because it's fine print. They really want to see, okay, what is the, think like an appraiser, what is the value? And here's the thing, too. I do a radio commercial, and people are stunned that we actually, real estate appraisers use our database. We don't use their database, but it's funny because banks require a home to be appraised. Banks call an appraiser if you're getting any kind of a mortgage or a bank loan or anything. It's an appraiser's opinion of the value. These guys go through a lot more schooling and the whole training process, and so it's funny that an appraiser has a lot more clout in terms of value in a consumer's eyes than real estate agents. Though appraisers use the real estate agent database where we've sold the properties. And so what we tell people is, look, we use the exact same database as real estate appraisers. To maximize your home's value, we make sure that we subscribe to the same database that real estate appraisers do. Are you lying? Nope. We all subscribe to it. It's called your local MLS. So explain that to people. And also, too, make sure when you go on a listing appointment, this is huge because we get out of this, you know. Tell them that you're going to put it in the MLS, the realtor database. We've literally had one guy ask me, are you going to put it in the MLS? I went through all this presentation. He said, are you going to put it in MLS? I was like, yeah, I mean, that's the first thing we do, you know. But anyway, this right here just talks about limited service brokers. Don't get trapped into or locked into anything. If you pay somebody, I know for a fact in Louisiana and Tennessee, because I've worked and brokered in both states, if you pay someone so much as $1 up front to market and promote your property, then you're legally obligated and locked into that agreement by means of a financial, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, I tell people don't
deal with it up front. I love that you're dealing with it as part of your presentation.
Yeah. It's like, you know, state the obvious. You know, when you're calling somebody, say, hey, I hate to call you, I hate to bother you, I hate getting calls, but listen, man, I want to call you because your house didn't sell. It's been 6 months. I know you're probably pissed off with the agent. Why do you think it didn't sell? No, like, you know. And this is just a quick checklist to save people time and money. One of the last things that always a consumer says, you're there at the listing appointment, is, what do you think we should do? You know, and I find it funny, and you'll all probably agree that some of the cleanest, neatest houses are always the people that are so conscious of what else do I need to do? What needs to be cleaned up? And you can be sitting in a house, man, and you're scratching the fleas on your legs, and it is filthy. Absolutely, the house is a dump. And they'll never ask you what they need to do to fix up, or what can we do to improve it. I'm like, you know what? Burn it. You know, get the fire hose out, get the pressure washer out. You know, it's like, gee, what can we do? It's like nothing. Move out. But anyway, this business can be fun, stressful but fun. We recap on the 90-day home sale guarantee. Yes, your home can be sold, or we can buy it. And we just kind of push that out there a little bit. Most of the time people are like, what's the catch? What's the big deal? How can you buy my house? And, you know, we do tell them we limit it to $300,000. You know, anything more than that. I don't have investors that are willing to in this market. And then SEO, we know that home buyers use the Internet. They're on the Internet. And so we always have our websites optimized for any kind of tablets and PCs and all that stuff. And if somebody Googles anything related to our local real estate, we're the first site that pops up due to our, you know, not only organic but pay-per-click. And I find that some of the words that you can use, like organic, most people are like, organic, what the hell does that mean, organic? You know, that's the fruit I see at Fresh Market. What's, you know, or Whole Foods. So we try to explain a little bit about the Internet and how it works. And anyway.
Wayne, that's so much information. Thank you for taking through that. I wish we had, you know, another hour just to spend with you and ask you the deep questions that come up with each of the slides. But I want to say thank you for sharing us and taking us through your listing presentation. And I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right into Mike Parker and introduce your good friend and one of the good guys in this business, Mike Parker. As good as Wayne is, I'll tell you, and that was really good. You're going to love what Mike has to share with you today, folks. So stay on the call, as we may go a couple minutes over our top of the hour. But I want you to know that from his very first year in business, Mike's dedication to excellence took him straight to the top of the business. He's always, for so many years, been ranked one of the top agents in North Kentucky. He's not only just one of the top agents in North Kentucky, but he's one of the top agents in the country. He's well known through the industry amongst other top real estate agents as being a connector, a giver, one who not only receives a lot of referrals but gives a lot of referrals. He's one of the good individuals, one of the good men in this business. And after nearly a decade in real estate, his numerous national awards are proof of his ability to just flat out get the job done and dominate. So, Mike, thank you for so graciously volunteering to be here today. We appreciate you being here, and I'm going to jump right in and let you just take it.
Fantastic, Vero. Appreciate it. I want to say a special thank you to Open Home Pro. It's a great app. Use it. Appreciate them coming on there. And Wayne's presentation was great. A few things on Wayne's presentation I just want to hit. People hit a lot of white space in his presentation. That is great. Whenever you say something talk about something, have a visual for it. And, Wayne's presentation there, he had a nice presentation there with his logo on it. When you're doing your listing presentation, you're going out, when I'm going out to do a presentation, I want to train and educate my client. I want to get that listing sign, and I want to get grocery shelf, okay? And grocery shelf means this. I need new inventory. And why do people go to the grocery store? Because they know things are on the shelf, okay? And what I'm doing there is I am getting new inventory for my home, for my websites there. And also I want to create a current and a future referral source. That is very important to say, current. Don't wait till the closing to ask for referrals. As soon as you start working with the people, you want to ask for it. Go to the next slide there, if you would, please. Okay, there's three things the seller want to know, and we hit this as soon as we walk in the door here. What's my home worth today? How long is it going to take to sell? And what are you going to do to sell it quickly and the highest net to me? Right there. You can go ahead, Verl, to the next one there. The next slide. Okay. It's very critical when you're in the presentation. People will say, well, why are you moving? Well, we're being transferred to Dallas. That's the reason. That's not the motivation. You need to find out in the presentation, early in the presentation, what is the true motivation? Hey, Verl, you called me out here. Why'd you call me out here? Well, we're getting transferred to Dallas. That's the reason. Well, motivation means, we want to find out. It says, well, my wife's from Dallas area, from the South Lake area, and we're moving close. That is for love. At some point in time during that listing, you're going to have to remind that seller why they are moving. Okay, I've took another new job. I'm going to make more money. Well, that's for greed. That's for more money. At some point, you really got to find out what the motivation is for them truly moving. Go ahead. There. Okay, this is out of the 2012 NAR profile home buyer and home seller. The 2013 came out this past November. Highly, highly recommend going to realtor.org, and you can buy the download for this. I think it's $75. It's about 125 pages. NAR, National Association of Realtors, does one thing extremely well. They do research, and what they have done is they have followed 20,000 families over 20 years, okay? And there is great information in there for your home buyer and your home seller. Highly recommend you going out and purchase this. This is just one slide on this right here. But this is an interesting thing when we send things out. You go ahead and go to the next one. Okay. Did you skip a couple things there on the one on a listing appointment? Go to the one, Verl, it's on the listing appointment. You should have.
I don't know if I can jump around, Mike. It'll probably come up.
Okay. All right. Well,
so what happened is I try to get every slide in here, but there's so many great information.
All right, well, we'll catch it here. There's a listing appointment questionnaire I want to get hit before we get off. This is the first page on ours, and let me tell people, we're in the process of redesigning our complete presentation right there. And I'm going to show you some of the do's and the don'ts of some things that we've done, what I consider well. I mean, we list over 125 houses a year, so this has worked. Our listing presentation is either emailed or FedExed out to them ahead of time. It's called a pre-listing package. We put a copy of all the contracts in there. We have the listing presentation that's printed out. If they are able to receive things by email, we'll email it out to them. And if they are not, we will do a FedEx and send it out to them ahead of time. There. I want them to have that before I walk in because I want to be able, if I don't have to go over the whole presentation with them, I won't. Okay? Go ahead to the next page there, Burl, see what you got here. Okay. This is a page we've used for years. We are completely in a redesign. For my personal opinion here, there's too many words here. Okay, this is good. There's 4 types of personality. When you design a presentation, you got to take into effect all 4 personalities. And the DISC, the C is the engineer type, the personality type. They love detail. They'll read every word of this. The D and the I will never read this. Okay, there's too much words there. So sometimes, some agents will have 2 types of presentation depending on the personality. Our new one's going to have a little bit more pictures involved into it with less verbiage in there like that, but you need to have a page just talking about who you are. I'm 29 years in the business. I've done quite a few things in my life there, and, let them there, because what we're trying to is relate to them in some shape, form, or fashion. Okay, go ahead to the next page. Okay, this is talking about my team. Okay, Wayne's team's page is a lot better than mine, in my personal opinion, the way he designed it, and we're going to look at real hard there. But you need to have your team, and you need to talk about your team. Now, if you look at the very, very bottom, what can you expect from us? Those words right there are picked off that home buyer and home seller report. There were certain words that the home buyer and a home seller picked up on that they saw valuable inside a real estate agent. That's why we use those words right there. Also, too, remember I talked about referrals? We constantly were trying to work on a current and the past client right there, or future clients. We got something in there talking that we love your referrals. We're constantly working that to get them educated to come in that where they're going to be able to send referrals to us. All right, go ahead.
It's just kind of paused on me for a second. Let's get it to go.
No problem. No problem. While you're talking about that, the pre-list questionnaire is the foundation of your business, okay? And inside the handouts that you're going to receive right there, inside the handouts you're going to receive, go ahead to the next slide, Burl, to save time here. You're going to get 2 different handouts on questionnaires, okay? Now this one here, I stole this page off of Rob Levy. It's talking about exposure, and it's just, exposure there. Here's a way to make this slide better, to make this page better in your presentation. When you have something like this, there needs to be a visual, okay? And what is the exposure? It could be a print ad. It could be a real estate sign. It could be a website, some kind of picture up in the right-hand corner to make this page better. We are using this page in our new presentation, but it's getting redesigned with some visuals there. But if you look at number 3, that's the important one. What is exposure? And then it comes back and says we're working with the Mike Parker team. We have used a lot of cartoon figures in the past and had very good success with them. Our new presentation is going to more personal photos, okay? And we're using iStock a lot. We're buying these photos. Some of these photos we have taken ourselves. We have paid people to take photos with us. If you have a team, have a breakdown of what your team is. Now, if you're a single agent, you have a team. That means there are people inside the office that work for you. You have an office manager, you have a lender, you have an appraiser that works for you, you have people at the office that work for you. Have what those people do as part of the team. I get people when I teach around the country that say, well, I'm a single agent. You still have a team there. If you have a team, break it down on what they cover here. This is a very good page because we talk about this, and people will say, you handle all this? Said, this is what our job is. This is everything. It's just not putting a sign up and praying that it sells. We have things we take care of here. Go ahead. Spanish. I've got 2 people on my team. They're very fluent in Spanish, and this is starting to become a big deal for us. It has opened up another source of business that I've never been involved in. And we had 2 closings this past month that were strictly from the Spanish side, and that's how we got it. And what the Spanish side is, I found they're extremely loyal, extremely loyal. We go into detail about our EasyX there. I use it a lot. It's one of my closes there. We have a lot of companies in our area. When they sign you up for a listing, you're not getting out, and people kind of get a little gun shy. I tell people, if you're not happy with our service and we can't correct it, you're gone. And, you know, I talk about it up front. If you are thinking about doing this, talk to your broker. Just to make sure it's okay with your broker. But this is a close. I actually write into the listing contract that seller or agent can cancel the contract at any time. And people say, why would you cancel a contract? I said, well, you know, if we're not getting along and we can't work together well, there's no sense in us staying there. Or if you mistreat my staff, I've had a couple of people start trying to yell at the staff and stuff. That's not going to happen. I will stand up for my staff. So, you know, from there. But the easy exit is a great little close. It's a trial close. Once you walk in the house, you should be trial closing all the way to the final close.
I love that,
Go
Mike.
ahead.
I love that. I think it creates more exclusivity when you let them know that you can release them just as easy as they can release you. I think that's a great
concept. It's a crazy look on their face when they see it. They go, you mean you can cancel it? All right, big slide here. Mr. and Miss Seller, there are 3 types of showings in today's real estate. There is the Casper showing. They're in their house robe or a suit. They're either a home or their work, and they're online. They're looking for their home. Okay. The second showing is a physical drive-by showing. The second showing is a drive-by showing where they're driving by looking at the exterior of your house. The third showing is the physical showing. Okay. What we got to do is we got to make sure that we have professional photos. We use professional equipment. We have to have professional photos to show that your house looks the best. Have you been looking online? Yeah, we're moving to Charlotte. We've been looking. There's nothing worse than having a house that has 1 to 2 photos or really bad. Can't believe how bad the photos are. Mr. and Ms. Seller, we're going to have 25 to 30 professional photos of your house, of the inside and out on there. This Casper thing, if they haven't sold a house in 15, 20 years, it really opens their eyes. Okay, if they're have sold a home or they're a millennium type buyer, they completely understand what you're talking about, especially if they've been online looking any at all. And it really drives a point home right there. Go ahead to the next slide there.
It's very powerful.
Cell phone. You know, right there, one of the things is we make sure point of difference. Most of my area here, the real estate offices have a front desk, okay? My company I'm with a large independent, they have a front desk. But all our signs have the 859-647-0700. And after ours, that's forward to the cell phone. We also have on top of our sign, call or text to an 859-912 number. That number, it goes straight to the team agents. I have agents who can list and sell underneath of me. They're not buyer agents. They can list or sell. But what happens is somebody can answer that. And then within the first week we take a listing, everybody gets through the house at some point. They know what the house looks like. They know what they're talking about. And, you know, they're able to talk to somebody. They're not going to a voicemail. I do not believe in voicemail. They're able to talk to somebody from 9 to 9. And, you know, after that, it will maybe go into a voicemail, but we're following up right away. Go ahead. The next one there is your website viewable on there? Ours is. We paid extra money to get this done. One of the things you want to do is look at your site. Is it mobile friendly? Let me get my numbers here. 45% of last year's, in 2014, 45% of the internet buyers found their home on a mobile device. That means cell phone or tablet. Okay, just think about that, and that number is only going to go up. So you want to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. I know mine is. Most of my competitors are not. I'll bring out a website and say, who else are you talking to? And they say, we're talking to John Doe. Okay, I'll type in, this is John Doe's website. See how it's a blown out proportion? It's not mobile friendly. That's a very little point of difference. When you get into competition and it's getting down between 1 or 2 agents, and you need to create a point of difference. That's a great little page to bring up. Virtual tours. We use Tour Factory. Our company has a website company they use for tour. We also do our own, which is Tour Factory. Show the points of difference into that, and there. Most MLSs use LiftHub. Not all, but most of them do. Whatever your MLS uses, find out where the homes are getting distributed out to. Okay, then create a page like this. I've seen 3 or 4 different ones, but you want to create a page out there. Make sure that your website is in this here. I've seen too many agents use the Zillow, the Trulia, the Realtor.com, but they do not have their company site in there, and they don't have their own personal site in there. And if you look in there, 4 of those on that page are talking about me. Okay, let's spread the word here. And we just don't put your home on 3 to 5 sites like most realtors. We're going to put your home on over 250 sites, but there are 30 sites that are very relevant like that. And also, inside the handouts that we gave you a communication page that talks about the online traffic. And when you print out those handouts, make sure you look at that, because we can go on to our sites and see how many buyers are actually looking online, how many Casper showings. This is a great target. This was out of the old Star Power days. Somebody gave us this, and it's amazing how many people, if they've been on the market 4 to 6 weeks and they've got very little traffic, hardly one or 2 showings, and you'll get a call and say, Mike, does this mean we need to go down 12%? And the first couple times that happened, I kind of caught me off guard there. But what's happened is people really pay attention to this target. If you put something out, a really good graphic out, they will pay attention to it. And we use this constantly all the time. If we're not getting the showings, and you've been on the market and there's been pendings in your area, the things have gone under contract, there's 4 things that sell real estate: price, location, terms, condition. If we're not getting the showings, it's one of those 4. Well, Mr. Miss Seller, we can't move the property. You're offering good terms. Your property shows well. I think it gets down to price. And then that's one of the things we talk about here is where the first 45 days, that's when most of your showings will happen. And then it really slows down. Okay? Well, then what are you going to do to refresh the listing? Okay? Getting the home ready. This is the new page that we're getting designed. We're actually showing homes that have been listed before we got there, and then how to show the property. We're showing before and afters. And this is a good point here. When you create a page like this, have some before and afters. You got that countertop that's got all their medicine on it. It's got every toaster, blender, coffee maker on it, and it's a jam-packed countertop, and then when it's cleaned off like that. Show the before and after, because people learn by visuals. Show them that you have websites. Wayne talked about he had 3 websites, 3 main sites that he had. He had a Boomtown. Explain to them what Boomtown is. I mean, Boomtown is an unbelievable site. I've got Real Pro sites too. This is a Real Pro stealth site. And explain to them why we have these sites. It brings buyers in. We have over 400 buyers looking just for your area here. Explain what a blast email is. Anytime you talk to somebody about a feature is a tool, okay? What's the benefit to them, okay? Now, for example, this is one of our communication pages, and, we constantly are giving feedback. We show a feedback form here. That's what the one's to on the left. The one on the right is the communication page I was talking about that talks about how many people, how many Casper showings are they getting. You want to hit home in your presentation that a Casper showing is a real showing. Most people blow it off. They don't think, they didn't see my house. Well, Mr. and Ms. Seller, yes, they did. They went through 12 pictures on your virtual tour. We can tell how many pages they looked at, how many pictures they looked at, and they decided not to come see your house. They are picking out what they want to see by what is online. Showing your home, electronic lockbox, most agents use this, but they don't use it as a safety feature. It's a great tool to use as a safety feature right there, and it can be the points of difference there. Wayne made a comment about MLS. I remember losing out on a showing, getting a listing once, that the people sold an 800 and bought a 1.6 million with the agent, and she double dipped the 800 and it sold them a 1.6. And the reason I didn't get the listing because I didn't talk about the MLS. The other agent was a brand new listing, and the only thing she kept saying was, "I'm putting you in MLS, putting you in MLS." Make sure you got a profile, a page there, and it's very true. It's a very true story. It was $60,000 worth of commissions. I mean, it was there. What does the buyer think? Show feedback. But you guys show them how to read the feedback. Most people are not going to say that you're priced right. They're going to say you're too high, especially if the agent thinks that their buyer's going to write on it. They're not going to price it out. Talk about the lenders that you're working with there. We have been working with all our people. I've been in the business 28, 29 years. I've been working with Colleen since '02. Been working with Tim since '05. You know, we're working with people that know how to get the business. When the buyers come in, we're going to try to get them to talk to these people here before we can get them qualified. We got the best title company in the country here working for us. And then when in conclusion, when you finalize this, you want to go here to the sold sign, okay? Show a sold sign. It shows results, okay? And, you know, give them a thank you at the very end, talking about reviewing the presentation here. We want to be able to help you. Are you able to go to the seller's net sheet? Okay, here we go. All right. These are some of the pages here that you're going to.
I'm right there with you, Mike. I'm right there with you.
Okay. These right here are some of the sheets that it's in there, the handouts that we're giving to you. I gave you my entire listing package, okay? So you're going to be able to use these here, the property information. These are sheets we fill out on every listing here. Can you hit the next slide? Do you have any more? Okay. Mortgage payoff. I'll give you a little clip. A lot of agents try to brand all their pages. We do too, except the mortgage payoff. What we have found in the last 2 months is they're not allowed to use a branded mortgage payoff, okay? So if you create one of these, don't have your contact information on it because they're thinking that you order it. So it needs to be a non-branded site. The market activity report on the right is the one we just created. We've been using it here for about 4 weeks, and it's fantastic. Mr. and Ms. Seller, we're constantly going to stay in touch. Every 2 weeks, you're going to get this report here. Excuse me, and you're going to see how many Casper showings that you have had. At the very bottom here, we're going to see how many active showings we've had, you know, and we're also going to see what our competition is. We send them with this a CMA1 line, and they have the number of active listings and the number of pendings and the number of closings that have happened in the last 60 days. I only show the closing for the last 60 days because that shows what the current market is. And then at the top, it has what their days on the market is, number of showings they've had in the last month, and the total number of showings. Folks, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, this gives them what they need. And there, inside your handouts there that you're going to see, there's a listing appointment questionnaire. That handout is the foundation of your business. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to ask these questions before you go out to the house, and you know it saves you time, number one. And you know sometimes you'll get people try to blow you off. I said, Mr. and Ms. Seller, if you can give me 5 to 7 minutes here of answering questions, it's going to save you 30 minutes of presentation. And when you say it like that, they will answer those 5 to 7 minutes. Some of those questions are you being transferred? Have you already bought your next house? Are they being transferred? Do I have the possibility of getting a referral? Do you know the approximate square footage of your home? In our area, we have basements. Is your basement finished? I'm just going through some of these here very quick. Is your home presently listed? If so, with who and at what price? What's the approximate age of your home? Will both decision makers be at the presentation? If not, I'm going to try to schedule it where they both will be there. Are you interviewing other agents? Who are you interviewing? And then I'll say, what price do you think your home will be listed at? Well, Mike, that's why I'm bringing you out. Well, then I'll go ahead. That'll be fine. When's a good time for Mike to come over? Okay. What style of home do you have? And I'm going to come right back. Mike needs to pull comparables before he comes out. What price range should he pull? Like, well, you know, we're in a 350 to 400 range. Okay, well, then that kind of gives me an idea of what they are thinking. I want to know before they come out and think. Wayne also in his presentation showed you real market reports. Guys, I got 15 different areas that I get weekly from real market reports. We use it for our buyers and our sellers. That is a very, very strong presentation reports. We use it constantly. We send those out to them. And they are constantly keep the people updated, and it makes you look professional. And it sounds like we're running out of time.
You know what, Mike, I got to tell you something. That was masterful as you kept up with how fast I was turning those slides. You did a great job of describing what you do. And I know if given you another hour, you could have really gone through in a lot more detail. All I can say is, wow, I sat here and I learned from both both you and Wayne a lot of things that I can be doing differently to not only increase my effectiveness at a listing presentation, but just flat out dominate in my market. When I asked Mike and Wayne to do these presentations, I said, what can I share with everybody on the call? And both Mike and Wayne said, share everything. Give them copies of my presentation. Give them my checklist, my listing tools, and all the things that Mike went over. So you can download those. If you look at the bottom of this slide right here, you can go to workmansuccesssystems.com/blog, and there will be a link. There will be a link on there. You can go right in there and download both listing presentations and all the checklists, everything that was shared, and we'll also make available a copy of this webinar so you can listen to it again. We really don't have any time for questions today, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print all of the questions that have been posted in the question section, and we're going to go through and I'm going to email those to both Wayne Turner and Mike Parker, and I'm going to ask them to answer those questions. We'll post them on the blog, and if you pay attention to the interaction there, you'll be able to see answers to all of your questions. I want to thank first of all Wayne Turner for spending and sharing his unbelievable listing process with us, and Mike Turner for sharing his. And of course, we want to say thanks to our amazing sponsor, Open Home Pro, for not only creating great technology, but creating a special offer for everybody that was on the call today. Mark, is there any last words or anything you'd like to add as we wrap today's call up?
No, this is great, Verl. I really appreciate the opportunity. You will get definitely an email from us reminding you about the RIS webinar special, 15% off. And then also one lucky person will get a year's free. And look in your emails for that from us as well. So definitely within the next week, you'll see information from us about it. And it's a great app. Go out and give it a try.
Well, thank you again for your sponsorship. Thanks for making such great technology. On behalf of RIS Media, I'm Verl Workman. Thanks for another phenomenal call with our top agents in our webinar series. And stay tuned for next month's call as well. Talk to you all soon.